Welcome everybody to today's session. And today's session is very exciting because we have two different areas which are not so very close to each other, innovation and sustainability. And yet they are so very important and they are so very intertwined. And for us to, for us to be guided, we have Dr. Sandeep Sawant with us, an expert in sustainability in academia, working with industries, working with students, and looking forward to interacting with him today. And let us see, how we can explore this space of how innovation and sustainability are so interrelated. And when we say that we want to be innovative, sustainability comes as part of the second phase of the coin, the same coin. And when we look at sustainability also, for it to be aligned to business, for it to be aligned to our societal needs and individual stakeholder needs, you need to have a lot of innovation within it in some way. Let's begin, and let me introduce Dr. Sandeep Sawant. I'll just share my screen and we can get started. We have today's session here with us is on how innovation can shape a sustainable tomorrow, and innovation and sustainability. We are looking at how innovation and sustainability is intertwined and related. How do you build sustainability in an organization very productively, and the practical ways of leveraging these methods, and how innovation and sustainability can be leveraged with each other. And we also lead into Dr. Sawant's experience, practical experience in learning this specific area. We also look at how do you cultivate sustainability within our team and beyond, and how do you influence the future generation in large number of ways. Our students who are and people who are fresh in the industry, just about to hit the industry, how does that really work, and how do academic institutions foster this culture of innovation and sustainability. So these are some of the areas that we will explore today with Dr. Sawant, and looking forward to this discussion with Dr. Sawant. Dr. Sandeep Sawant is our guest for today. He's the director of Kohinoor Management School, multiple years of experience in industry as well as academia, around 28 years of experience, rich experience. He is a PhD in sustainability and design thinking expert there, sustainability assessor for CII for multiple years, and certification of sustainability from Harvard in a way. And he very, closely works with academia, students, other faculty members, other institutes, and the industry to really cultivate this element of sustainability, innovation, design thinking space for our young students from various institutes. And that's where we could leverage his insights on how do we really look at sustainability and innovation both together. And I think that improves our scope or our vision of what we see as sustainability. So my name David, this Perez Isaac, host for today, co-founder of Iris Innovate, Iris Training and Consulting, also been a design thinker and an innovation kind of an expert from multiple agencies, and work with corporates, academia to really create this culture of innovation and look at various aspects of innovation. I host the innovation platform, innovation community on Thinkly, and looking forward to the session. So we have Dr. Sandeep Sawant here, and start the discussion. Welcome, Dr. Sandeep Sawant, and thanks for accepting our invite for joining in for today's session.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you, David, for inviting me on Thinkly in your innovation community to share my experiences on sustainability. And as I was listening to you, sustainability and innovation, yes, they are closely related. Means without innovation, there can't be sustainability. Because if you look back throughout history, all sustainability initiatives have happened only because of innovation. And right so said, sustainability is very important in today's time. Means like if you look at last 4-5 years, what has happened, society's expectations from businesses are changing. Means last 20 years it was not so, but if we look at last 5 years, we had a pandemic, there is acute deforestation, lack of biodiversity, climate change. All these issues are basically, putting us to the tipping point that yes, sustainability is required. But what's happening is, that many of the industries, sustainability is still at infancy stage. And more so ever, we require sustainability because as we had been going through COP26, COP27, if the world's climate temperature is not controlled to rise below above 1.5, there will be crisis. Again, biodiversity, water quality, land contamination. These are all issues, and somewhere these are all man-created. Means it's because of what you can say rapid industrialization which has happened done by the developed countries. So there is a need of sustainability. Means say corporates today can't sit behind and say the planetary issues and societal issues somebody else will look. In fact, people are expecting, or society is expecting, for corporates to enter and solve these issues. Means those days are gone where, we are today in an era of stakeholder capitalism. The earlier capitalism was like there was an owner, he used to create best of the products and the profit used to be again plowed down in the business. But that's not the case. Today, what we call is something called social responsibility of business. Means somewhere corporates or the industry have to give back to the society. And that's very, very important. And when we talk of sustainability, it is not only about environment. So sustainability, basically, it has got three things. One is the, what you can say, economic sustainability, whether the business which we are doing is feasible. Second is societal, what you can say, sustainability, whether the community in which we are operating, those communities are benefited, whether our employees are benefited. And then comes the environment, whether we are affecting the environment. Whatever we are taking from the environment, what you can say, steps we are taking to ensure that we give back to the environment. In fact, and that's the reason, like last 20, 30 years, enough had been said about sustainability at UN also. And we have 17 UN sustainability goals, those SDG goals. I think I'll request David just to show the slide of SDG goals, which are very, very relevant. Yes. So these are the global goals. If we look at, first is no poverty. Second is zero hunger. Third is good health and well-being. Fourth is quality education. Fifth is gender equality. Sixth is clean water and sanitation. Seventh is affordable and clean energy. Eighth is decent work and economic growth. Ninth is industry innovation and infrastructure. And reduce inequality is the 10th one. Then you have sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption and production, climate action, life below water, life on land, peace and justice, and strong institutions, and partnership for the goals. So these are the 17 goals which actually have to be adhered by corporates depending upon which areas they are working into. Okay, because addressing these challenges, 17 challenges, what would happen is it will create a huge market. Means, in fact, it's a multi-million-dollar market which is there at play across sectors, whether it is transportation, whether it is agriculture, whether it is food, or whether it is green finance. In fact, a 2-year study was done just by UN on the sustainability goals, and they found that if we'll take care of all these goals, right from no poverty to eliminating hunger to partnership for the goals, we could unlock trillions in value and could generate jobs for millions of people. Means another study says during the pandemic, the loss to entire world was around 22 trillions. So these all things means, as I had been saying, when we talk of triple bottom lines, sustainability is required. And for any sustainability initiative, to go ahead with, you require innovation. Means without innovation, there can't be sustainability. Simplest example, if you look at Government of India, we have several schemes. Like if you look at Aadhaar, now Aadhaar is also what? It's an innovation. It's an innovation, and not just innovation, it's a sustainable innovation. Through Aadhaar, what has happened is basically it has helped in financial inclusion. That is the direct benefit of transfers. Okay, and it was because of Aadhaar that we have all this Pradhan Mantri, Jan Dhan Yojana, or say Ujala, or Startup India, all these are happening. So in fact, Government of India has right from last 15 years had several initiatives which were sustainable in nature and which had lot of innovation. See, when we talk of, say, National Health Mission, or when we talk of Mission Indradhanusha, which is about, say, immunization of kids and what you can say, pregnant females, right? Now, this is something, this can happen only when you have you can reach to the grassroots level. For any sustainability initiative this type to happen, you have to reach to the grassroots level, and to reach to the grassroots level, you require innovative ideas. Simple example just to give over here is Arvind Eye Hospital. Okay, the cataract operations, or Narayan Hridayalaya. How they have read, this is also an example of sustainability, because they are actually helping the downtrodden people who can't really afford, and lot of innovation has gone into. Maybe it was not a structured innovation, what we say, but a lot of thought at how we can do this. Okay, so normally what corporates, they feel that it's not possible to be good and do good, but that's not the case. It's possible to be good and do good. Like if we look at, say, HUL, in fact, HUL is an organization worldwide. They had been shaping regulations for sustainability. Okay, they are carbon positive, they are water positive, they are energy positive. If we look at all their, like if we look at Lifebuoy, now Lifebuoy is just not a brand, but it is something, it has done a lot for the society. Like they had a campaign during Kumbh Mela 2015 as well as 2019. And I can tell you because we had sent our students for Kumbh Mela to study Kumbh from sustainability perspective and from business perspective. So what Lifebuoy had done was, with their campaign of Haath Dhoye Kya, they had made a lot of chapatis. And on those chapatis used to be written Haath Dhoye Hai Kya. Okay. Now this was something, what you can say, social message. See, if any sustainability initiative also requires behavioral transformation. So through this, they were able to reduce, the deaths due to diarrhea by nearly 50 to 60%. So it's not that you can do good and can't be profitable. It is possible. Only thing is, what is required is you should have the initiative. Okay, if you have the initiative, if you have the, what you can say, value system in your organization, like HUL has a value system, to, what you can say, reduce our impact on the environment, or to touch billions of lives. See, in this entire world, roughly there are, out of the 8 billion population, 6.5 billion are surviving on less than $1.5 or $2. And in India, that is coming to 30 crore. So when we talk of inclusion, when we talk of inclusive growth, it cannot be without sustainable initiatives. And it can't be one person's job. It has to be government and the corporates which have to come together. Yes, in India, many organizations are taking initiative. There was a report which I had read, in fact, about net zero, and say by 2030, we are going to become net zero. 2070, we are going to become net zero. In fact, India would be able to achieve it by 2040 because the kind of investment which is coming in green energy. And for all these initiatives, if you look at what you require is innovation. I give you a simple example. I think all know Marico, okay, parachute oil, okay. Now, how parachute is an example of innovation and sustainability together. Now, Marico, for manufacturing, what you can say, coconut oil, they depend on coconut. Now, what used to happen? Now, they started some 10, 15 years back. What used to happen is this middleman used to control the supplies of coconut, because of which Marico had to suffer, in a sense, because of the vagaries of, say, prices of the commodity and all. So they came up with an idea. The poor farmers, the poorest farmer who has got only, say, one tree. Okay. So they created something like e-chopal or a kiosk where the poorest of the farmer can come and keep his coconut for sale. And they used to buy it from him. So with this, what happened? The poor farmer got a livelihood. And secondly, what happened to Marico was they got, what you can say, a long-term supply chain contract wherein they can have control over prices. Now, in a way, this is a sustainable exercise, sustainability with innovation, thinking about how you can reach to the poorest of the farmer and how you can give him livelihood. At the same time, how you manage your bottom lines also. So when we say triple bottom lines, when we say economic gain, yes, it was financially feasible because it yielded profits to Marico. So this way, many corporates are taking initiatives of becoming sustainable, and all sustainability initiatives require backing of innovation.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Sawant. Very enlightening examples of how innovation and sustainability go hand in hand, and very relevant, examples in terms of industry, very eye openers on how I think the change that we are looking at in sustainability actually does not mean that it should be very dramatic, lot of investments required. It could be certain kind of bare minimum investments, thinking differently out of the box kind of. And we then are able to meet these three elements of sustainability that you mentioned, this thing, Dr.
Yeah,
Sawant,
one is
about.
society,
Yes,
one is economic, and one is environment, the green environment,
yes,
then the business, whether it is feasible, and then
right.
society. Now, this actually, if you look at design thinking, we have those three things, whether
Hmm.
it is viable, feasible, and I think technically possible, I think. So
Right.
similarly, we have, because sustainability is what? It's confluence of environment, whether you are causing not causing impact to the environment, whether your initiatives are environment friendly, whether your supply chain is environment friendly, whether your product, how you what you can say after you get back their product, how you what you can say dissolve it and all, whether that is environment friendly, then whether you are making money out of it, and then finally whether society, what is the gain for the society. Actually, if you look back in history, India had a good tradition of giving back to the society. But then over a period of time, this Milton Friedman theory of capitalism, business is only for creating profits for the stakeholders. But that is no longer, because what has happened, because of which maximum impact had happened to the planet and to the society. So somewhere now there is an active voice, or even in C-suite circuits, people are speaking about stakeholder capitalism. Means, in fact, organizations are trying to become net positive. They are trying to become net positive. So basically, net positive is something organization which takes minimum but gives back to the what you can say environment and to the society. Means a proper definition is a net positive company is one improves the well-being for everyone it impacts, and at all scales, for every product, every region, every operation, and for every stakeholder, including the suppliers, the communities, what you can say, the customers, and even for the future generation. So in fact, with ESG norms becoming stringent across the globe, with asset managers as well as asset owners, what you can say, breaking down the neck of corporate people that you should be ESG compliant, sustainability is here to stay. And for all sustainability, what you can say, initiatives, you require innovations. Means without innovation, sustainability can't happen. They are intertwined, means they go together. And in fact, there is a lot to contribute from design thinkers like you for the innovations of sustainability. Like I think I remember there is an example which I shared with you long back about that incubator which was done for small kids. Now, that was also an example of innovation and sustainability.
True, true, absolutely, yeah. And I think very exciting. What was really, catching my ear also, Dr. Sawant, was this element of the economic sustainability.
Yeah.
So when people look at sustainability, the immediate reaction is, I now have to spend something from my profit. Now I have to look at, reserves which I have to put aside. It is going to hamper my economic element. But rather than that, it starts off from the economic sustainability. Means, is the business going to be sustainable on the long term from an economic front also? What it
Yeah.
also means is that I need to make profit. I have to make profit. Without profit, without value addition, I am going to be nowhere, because if I don't have the business, then how do I impact the lives of people? There are so many people. Extended. I remember, I work with some pharma firms and other firms also. If you look at the kind of, so if I say the number of employees in an organization is say around 3,000 to 4,000 for whom you are providing employment, and people are able to earn their livelihoods, the extended impact is around 3x times. So if there is around 5,000 people directly employed, there are total, we have 15,000 people who are getting impacted: the vendors, the subcontractors, the admin, and so many jobs getting created. So in essence, when we say economic sustainability, it also implies that the onus is there on the organization to ensure that they do strategic activities, innovation activities, activities to sustain livelihood, skills of people also, because in today's time, I think economic sustainability also means that skills are getting redundant, and upskilling, reskilling, and ensuring that the human capital is rightly, used in large number of ways. What are your thoughts there? It was very interesting that, the economic sustainability is a very important pillar among the three
See,
pillars.
normally what organizations feel is that if we try to be sustainable, it will increase our cost. But that is not the case. Okay, that is not the case, because when we talk of sustainability, it has to be embedded in your strategy. Okay, it can't be like your overall organization should have sustainability embedded in its processes. And all those, if you can look at companies whose ESG scores are good, or who had been on this sustainability, what you can say, thing, they have embedded sustainability in each and every process. Means right from their supply chains, means they are taking efforts. Like as DuPont used to say, I try to take care of my customer's customer. So that kind of philosophy has to be there if I am helping my vendor and his vendor to become sustainable. See, this is something of philosophy. It can't be like, see, maybe 2-3 years you may have your margins under pressure, but in the long term, it is what you can say a good thing for the vendors as well as for your organization, because what you get is when you go out of the way to help your vendor's vendor to make his supply chain, what you can say, green, you invest money in it, but naturally those returns, that is also going to lower costs for you in the long term. So it's not something, because what happens is everyone thinks quarterly, like we want profits every quarter. But when we are on this earth, we have to think, like as the report of sustainability says, whether we are making our, what you can say, whatever we are using today, whether the future generation will be also able to use it. So we owe our universe to the future generation. So taking that into consideration, organizations have to do this. Like say, if we look at, like say, company like ITC, which is into tobacco business. Of course, over a period of time, it has reduced its exposure to tobacco. But ITC has got lot many sustainable initiatives. In a sense, they are the only company in India which is carbon positive, water positive, and energy positive. And all their buildings, all their offices are green offices. In a sense, they use minimum of power. Now, this is somewhere you are reducing your costs. See, it's entirely means what you can say, top-down approach. The philosophy has to be there, because without sustainability, see what's happening. 2 years back, there were floods in China, there were floods in Europe, and there were floods in Pakistan. Now, this is nothing but what you can say impact of climate change. That's because of non-sustainable way of doing things. And with that, what happens with all these things, the supply chains get disrupted. Okay, if you have floods, if you have famines, the supply chain gets disrupted, and that's ultimately is going to impact what you can say is your business. So it is not, the others are going to do it. Everyone has to take initiative. Maybe in the shorter run, it will impact your profitability, but in the long run, it is going to give dividends. Like say when Marico took this step, of investing into the, what you can say, small time farmers. Now, what they have done is they have, what you can say, economically, they have managed their business. In a sense, they got, what you can say, a long-term contract. Yes, for next 5 years, I'm going to have my coconut supply. I don't have to depend on any commodity fluctuation of prices. Or say when HUL decided to go with, HUL in fact have got several sustainability initiatives. Haath Dhoye Kya is one. Another is they also have their detergents which consume less power. Okay, they consume less energy. Or their project Shakti, where we have given livelihood to the communities, to the females in remotest of the places to sell their products. See, these are all initiatives which organizations have to do. Sustainability has to be, what you can say, incorporated in their strategy. You can't have a separate sustainability department. Means right from your vision, mission, to your goals and objectives, and how you reward people who are putting efforts for being ESG compliant, that is also equally important.
Right. It's very interesting, Dr. Sawant, the points that you are bringing up. And I think you mentioned about the future generation. What really quizzes me also is that since you know the academia well, you interact with the industry so often, and as an expert in sustainability, what are those kind of skills which are required for people, for the new generation, and for people already existing in the industry at the moment? And how does your institute? I know you lead Kohinoor Management School, and you do a lot of great stuff there. How are institutions pivoting themselves towards enabling the people who join the industry, who are learning in a way, who interact with industry, who are already in the industry in some fashion, to be sensitive to the aspect of sustainability, and not just be sensitive but to be acting on it in some way? So what are those skills, what are those areas which you feel are very important, and your institute is really doing some
Yeah,
pivotal
yeah.
stuff there?
See, I am part of Kohinoor Management School, which belongs to KAT Schools of Management. In fact, we have two institutes. One is Kohinoor Business School and one is Kohinoor Management School. I represent Kohinoor Management School, which has a 2-year full-time PGDM program. Now, in fact, as I said, it's a top-down approach, like the vision is very important. Okay. So, in fact, within our mission, we have an a program or a philosophy of Daitva. Daitva is an obligation to societal development. Now, the philosophy of Daitva was a brainchild or vision of our chairman, C.S. Sunilji Karve. In a sense, what happens is our students should be sensitized about societal issues, environmental issues, and economic issues around them. Means first they should know about at the local level, then they will be in a position to understand at the regional level, then at the national level, and then at the global level. So Daitva is incorporated as a sustainability initiative in our course structure. And in fact, our entire course structure, whether it is for Daitva or it is for any other courses, it is more of transformative than transmissive. Transformative in the sense we want students to inculcate right practices. In a sense, sustainability is just not there in the syllabus for the sake of it, but when our students go to the industry and when they work, they should be able to shape sustainability practices. So what happens in the PGDM course, right from the trimester 1, students are exposed to sustainability. Okay. Apart from that, if you look at our course, it is based on, we have systems thinking, we have design thinking, we have critical thinking, we have active participation, as well as partnership for change. It is not only the theoretical aspect for sustainability, but all our students have to do so sustainability projects. In a sense, they work in and around 1.5 to 2 kilometer area, the radius of the institute. They work to find out what is the socio-economic situation in the slums over there. What is the education level? What are the problems? Apart from that, our students also work with municipal wards. They go to municipal schools, and then on the, they impart training on sanitation, nutrition, hygiene. Right now, our students are currently working with an NGO called Meadow Bright, where they are trying to understand the menstrual habits or the menstruation problems of the female in the slum areas. So these are several of such projects in which our students work, but it doesn't stop over there. Like in a marketing course, we make them think like, if this is a product, whether it is really required, how it is made, what must be the cost of packaging, whether the packaging was sustainable, what is the cost of transportation. Means we inculcate them in that thinking process. And we have another initiative whereby we have tie up with Wadhwani Foundation for entrepreneurship, where in our course we make students undergo entrepreneurship. So whatever viable product they are creating, they have to think from sustainability perspective. So here we are giving them twin objective. One is to become an entrepreneur, because it's not necessary that they should become an entrepreneur, but today each job requires entrepreneurial skill. Okay, means nobody, like 20 years back, it was our job description was given. Now there are no job descriptions. You have to set the boundaries. So that is one thing. And second is we are also imbibing them sustainability. Like say, if your organization is coming up, whether it's a financial product, whether it is in HR or whether it is in marketing, you have to always think from sustainability perspective. In fact, just to add, okay, if you want to ask something related to this, then we can go ahead. Something I missed earlier when we were talking about how corporates can, take steps to become
Sure,
sustainable
please.
through innovation.
Yeah. I think it's an important point to address also, Dr. Son. This thing, please to share
Yeah,
your thoughts. Yeah. But I think with this kind of capability, I think students and the next generation who is entering into the organizations will be very capable. And you rightly mentioned that the entrepreneurship, thinking like an entrepreneur is not that entrepreneur's DNA, the
yeah,
thought
yeah.
process, the innovator's DNA has to sink in. It's not that whether you will start your own business or, but if you're even working with an organization, very important that you have these kind of skills
You
and
should have
thinking
that.
methodology.
In fact, our emphasis is on making T-shaped professionals.
Hmm.
T-shaped professionals in the sense deep functional knowledge in one area, and then a broad-based knowledge of data, technology, digitalization, sustainability, people management, all the, because see, going ahead, the silos are not going to be there. Okay. Means if you are coming out, whether it's a financial product or a marketing product, you would be responsible right from finding out the data to the technology to the sustainability aspect to everything. So our emphasis is on that, creating T-shaped professionals with what you can say a strong sense of responsibility towards society. Okay, so coming back to the previous thing which we were discussing, how organizations can become sustainable and what kind of innovation initiatives are required. So the first step is they should look at compliance as an opportunity. See, normally what happens, any initiatives of government comes, any statutory requirement comes, there is a resistance. There is a resistance from industry. But then somewhere organizations have to accept this, okay? Because any compliance, like say now there is a compliance that you should ensure that you reduce your carbon footprints. You should reduce your carbon footprints or reduce your power consumption. Focus more on renewable sources of energy. Now, that is something, an opportunity for innovation. Okay. So what are the competencies required? The competencies normally require one, you should be able to anticipate the compliance which is coming. And secondly, you have to collaborate, means with other companies, with rivals, to implement a creative solution. So in fact, what is the innovation opportunity? In a sense, compliance gives an opportunity for any organization to induce, okay, the company and its partner to experiment with new sustainable technologies, with new material, with new processes in a way that makes them think inward as well as outward. Because today industries have to come together for sustainability initiatives. It can't be an island. They have to, what you can say, create the next practices. And for that, they have to create platforms. See, today we are living in a world of platforms. The reason why Amazon and all are doing well, because they created a platform where they allowed others to come and compete or rather cohabit together, right? So similarly, organizations also, so first step is they have to look at compliance as an opportunity. Like again, the biggest example is as Paul Polman in his book Net Positive, it says Unilever has always tried to shape regulations. In fact, they were the one who take initiatives in all these things. And then those things become what you can say a statutory requirement. Okay. Second is how can you make your value chain sustainable? That is very, very important. Means your entire supply chain, right from inbound to outbound, how you can make it sustainable. Means in that, what you require is competencies of say carbon management. And secondly, you require about life cycle assessment. Okay. And for this, you have to redesign your operations, right from what you can say, redesign your entire processes, your transportation, the vehicles, how you can reduce your carbon emissions. And this way you can make your, what you can say, value chain sustainable. For that, again, you will have to work with your vendor to find out who are part of the supply chain. Okay. So using alternative source of fuel, using what you can say, clean energy, wind energy, all those things. So this can be means this way you can look at. Means second step is making your value chain sustainable. The third is designing sustainable products and processes. You already have a product, okay, but then how much sustainable it is? Maybe not all, but then somewhere you have to think, look at your portfolio of products, out of which how many are really sustainable and whether we can make it sustainable. So for that, again, you have to have a relook at process where you have your, innovative approach of bringing all these stakeholders together, having discussions like we have in design thinking. So those things will help you to look at, whether my product is really sustainable. In some cases, you can use biomimicry, means how actually, nature looks at it, how nature works. So biomimicry can be done. Then another thing is developing new business models altogether. Okay, means moving away from your existing business model, creating new business models and going ahead with it. And the last is if you can create new practices, in a sense, new practices for the competitors or other industries, or you can cross-pollinate from other industries what is happening. So this way, and there is a lot of innovation opportunity looking at what are the new tech, because say with today technology, like say what we can say with AI and with all other kind of things, there is a lot of opportunity to innovate.
Right, absolutely, yeah. And I think as we are speaking, Dr. Sawant, we have few questions on our chat session. I'll just pick up a few. We have one from Desmond. How can policymakers and governments support and incentivize innovation for sustainability? So, how are policymakers and governments supporting, incentivizing innovation for the industry, and so that it helps sustainability?
If we look at
Do
say
you see some shift?
policymakers, if we look at policymakers are incentivizing. Okay, like if we look at say what's happening with the electric vehicle and all, government, see, government is always there to support. They if proper representation is made by the what you can say association of particular industry to the government that we are coming up with this initiative, things do happen. It's not that government incentivizes. It can be say it can be a tax holiday, or maybe certain kind of benefits can be given. So this way government can certainly incentivize organizations or corporates to go ahead with innovative what you can say exercises.
Sure. We have another question from Ayesha, and here the question is that what are looking ahead. What are your hopes or visions for the future of sustainable innovation, particularly within the context of academic institutions? So, what is your hopes and visions for the future for sustainable innovation, particularly from the academic side, academic institution side? What do you see?
I'm very optimistic and very positive as far as academic institutes are concerned, because over a period of time, sustainability has reached to most of the universities. In fact, now institutes are coming up with their own 2 years or 3 years or 4 years programs on sustainability. And in fact, the institutes are taking steps that students are really sensitized about sustainability. And we are creating future managers who are not just functional experts or technical experts, but they are also sustainability experts. You look at any university today, they have a course on sustainability. So somewhere sustainability has been inculcated within the DNA of what you can say universities or within the DNA of academia. So it is not that academia is away. In fact, if you look at the kind of research which is happening, okay, the kind of research which is happening in academia on sustainability is immense. So I see a very bright future. And in fact, there's huge career opportunity in sustainability. In fact, I had been telling students that future jobs, you look at ESG, like so many jobs it is going to create, not just for analysis, but in other areas also. In fact, last year, 6 of our students got into Morningstar in sustain analytics, which is into ESG. Okay. So there is good hope and there is a lot of hope. And we are very positive as an academia about sustainability, because it's we who are responsible to inculcate the, what you can say, value of sustainability within students.
Right. Absolutely. I think. And there's another question here. which is particularly looking at the marginalized and vulnerable populations. So the question is, how can we ensure that the marginalized and vulnerable populations are not left behind
Yeah.
in our pursuit for SGD goals,
Yes,
that
yes,
we
yes,
have? How
yes,
do
yes.
you
In
ensure
fact, the
that?
entire philosophy of SDG goals is inclusive growth. And there is a book written by C.K. Prahlad, the strategy expert, Fortune at the Bottom of Pyramid. Okay, we can't keep this, what you can say, people who are marginalized and vulnerable away. If that is not, if they are not taken in our growth fold, it's going to be very difficult. What's going to happen is there are going to be have and have nots. If we currently look at all those agitations which are happening for reservations are only because we have ignored the segments. And so as I said in the initial of my initial discussions, across the globe, more than 6 billion people are surviving on less than $1.5 or $2. And in India, roughly that number is 30 crores. So unless and until you have in your main fold. So if we look at SDG goals, it is like zero poverty. Okay, zero poverty is the first goal over there in SDG. So it has to be a collaborative effort from government as well as from the corporate to ensure. Like corporates have to reach now to the remotest of the places. Like say Tatas, through their trust, they're doing a lot of such activities across India, even in Naxalite areas, they are there. So others also have to follow. Because see, if we don't take this marginalized people in our growth story, it's going to be very difficult for anybody to survive. It's going to be difficult because already those things are happening. Means somewhere there has to be a dialogue between government and also government has got all those schemes, right, from Pradhan Mantri Yojana, then Jana Dhan Yojana, several yojanas are there, but somewhere corporates also have to get along with this. We have to, as Gandhiji says, if any of my activity is not impacting the lowest person, then it's of no use. So somewhere we have to reach through policies, through what you can say, skill development, all those things we have to reach and we have to take them in our main focus.
Right.
And for that, the younger generation, the generation Z, which is what you can say, well educated in sustainability and all, they have to take initiatives and maybe we can guide them.
Right, right. Very, very inspiring, Doctor. And I think a lot of our audience who is present today would draw a lot of inspiration from you in terms of undertaking journeys on sustainability, leading change within their own organizations and academia for driving the sustainable initiatives. And like we were mentioning earlier, is sustainability is not against the organization. It's all for the organization, for the people, for the societal elements.
Yeah.
And like the innovator, it's all and, it's not or in a
Yeah.
way. So you need to have solutions which are all and. It's business oriented, it's impactful to the society and the individual and the ecosystem in large number of ways. Any two or three key messages that you would leave our audience with, as a key message that they should take away with them as we are nearing the closure? So what is that key message that you would want to give the audience? Any
See,
key
key
message?
message is sustainability is what you can say. Sustainability is the way we look at things, the way what we value, what are our assumptions. First, we have to define this. Okay, means sustainability starts from us, how I can reduce my impact on this earth. That's very, very important. And if I see the change which I wish in others within me, then only sustainability is possible. Simple things can help to improve the overall impact on what you can say Mother Nature. And it starts from we, or I, rather I, not we. It starts with I. I should see the change which I wish to see in the world. So if I am sitting in a room and keeping the fan on, simple things, how I conserve water, how I conserve resources, that's very, very important. When I have it imbibed in me, then I will be in a position, to preach and to tell others that we have to become sustainable. And then the world is a beautiful place. The earth is beautiful. We have already, what you can say, destroyed it a lot. It's time for all of us to, take initiatives and take small steps that we make it better for the future generations which are going to come.
Right. Thank you so much, Doctor, for your insights, and it was very productive discussion that we had, and we explored, I think, a wide canvas on sustainability, connection with innovation, roadmaps which organizations are taking, examples of how it is working out with the corporates and how they see value, how we can look at academia and what is academia really working towards sustainability, and the importance of innovation, things like design thinking, innovation approach, because we it's all got to do with the and kind of constraints and contradictions and
Yeah, because see, when
so
we look at sustainability, there will be constraints. And for constraints, to remove those constraints, we require innovation. And in innovation, I think design thinking is really one of the best social tool. And if you look at most of this sustainability initiatives, there has been design thinking used in it. Maybe they were not knowing they were using design thinking. So
okay.
somewhere I think it is the onus is on you now, David, to sensitize people on how design thinking can help you to innovate for sustainability.
Sure, sure. And this is also one of the motives of doing the innovation community on Thinkly. The idea is to reach the masses, get people who are experts in the industry, in academia, to, get their voices across, explore a lot of these areas, get people convincing. And I think what I sense is, unless we have these success cases available with us, where people get confidence in different ways, and of course one is the skilling part. So
Yeah,
one is where I am really focused is, how do you think differently, and how do you challenge status quos and
yeah,
assumptions. And it need not be just free talk. It is very systematic in nature. It's quite algorithmic in nature. People can learn, people can uh, acquire the skills. And the hope is that we poke the universe somewhere, like we make an attempt to change things as they are. And I think as we have the critical mass,
yeah.
and as we join forces across the industry and academia, I think we will be very successful. And I hope the coming generation looks back saying that yes, this was a turning point which really helped us in some way. So thank you so much, Dr. Sandeep Sawant, for your time, and for the various aspects that you brought out, and the lucidness with which you really explained the points for us, for the audience, who is very vast and very diverse in nature, for them to really understand these particular topics. But thank you
Thank
so
you,
much,
David.
Dr. Sawant, for your
Thanks on behalf of Kohinoor Management School for giving us this opportunity. One is to share my experiences and insights on sustainability. Other thing is what exactly how the program architecture at KIT schools of businesses is helping students to inculcate the spirit of sustainability within them. So thanks a lot, and thank you to you and to Thinkly also.
Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Doctor. Thank you.
yeah, thank you.
Thanks for all of the guests for joining in, and looking forward to another session in future as we move along in different aspects of innovation. Thank you. Thank you so much,
Thank
Doctor.
you.